Big story coming in this morning. In a big relief, India has received a temporary boost to its crucial and critical energy supplies after the United States granted a short-term waiver allowing Indian refiners to purchase Russian oil. Now, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced a 30-day exemption offering relief to Indian refiners amid tightening sanctions on Moscow and rising geopolitical tensions in West Asia. Now, in a statement, the U.S. Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control said it had issued a Russia-related license authorizing the delivery and sale of Russian crude oil and petroleum products loaded on vessels as of March 5th to India. The authorization will remain valid until the end of the day on April 3rd, 2026, and also covers transactions involving vessels that may have been blocked under various sanctions regimes. Washington said the move is aimed at stabilizing global energy markets as geopolitical tensions in West Asia continue to disrupt oil flows and increase volatility. Now, calling India an essential partner, Bessent said the waiver is a deliberately short-term step designated to allow oil that is already stranded at sea to reach global markets without providing major financial benefit to Russia. The development, remember, comes months after the Trump administration had imposed sanctions on Russian oil giants Lukoil and Rosneft over Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. Now, India's imports of Russian crude had dropped to about 1.1 million barrels per day in the month of Jan, the lowest since November of 2022, before rebounding to roughly 30% of total imports in the month of February. Meanwhile, India's energy supply chain is facing fresh pressure as the escalating conflict in West Asia begins to disrupt liquefied natural gas shipments. State-run gas distributor GAIL India said it is assessing whether it may have to curb gas supplies to customers after forcing a force majeure notice from long-term supplier Petronet LNG. The notice comes as vessel movement in the Gulf region faces severe constraints amid the widening conflict involving the United States, Israel and Iran. According to GAIL LNG, allocations from Petronet were reduced to zero starting March 4th, although the company said the overall impact of the disruption cannot yet be quantified. The crisis has disrupted fuel shipments from the Gulf and affected India's LNG imports from key supplier Qatar LNG. Industry sources say transit through the strategic Strait of Hormuz, a crucial route for global oil and gas shipments, has slowed sharply after several vessels in the region were reportedly hit during the conflict. Now, Petronet LNG said its tankers were unable to reach the LNG loading terminal at the Ras Laffan industrial city in Qatar, prompting the force majeure declaration to buyers including GAIL as well as Indian Oil Corporation. Now, India imported 27 million metric tons of LNG in the 2024-2025 fiscal year, roughly half of its total gas consumption, with a large share coming from Qatar. Meanwhile, ONGC Petro Additions Limited said it is running its Dahej gas cracker at drastically reduced capacity due to falling gas and feedstock supplies, warning that the disruption could ripple through downstream petrochemical plants.